So here's a very interesting thing. People, especially let's say the kids growing up, when they see people not doing the right thing, they get angry at them, they reject, they yell, shiksa, gaita, that's like automatic. And that's in the name of Hashem. That's their ruchnius. The tzaddikim didn't do that. The tzaddikim on the higher level were makarev. The Nesiv Shalom says that the Baal Shem Tov said, Baal Shem Tov, the greater the tzaddik, the more he's able to be soivel, to, how do you say soivel? To tolerate, the bigger the Rasha. The bigger the tzaddik can tolerate, the bigger the Rasha. So this guy, and say it again. The Baal Shem Tov said, the bigger the tzaddik, ha-tzaddik ha-gadol b'yoser, could love yachalehayiv harasha ha-gadol b'yoser. So this guy is from on this level, and he's screaming and yelling, and he can't tolerate this Rasha. That's his shortcoming, not his maila. The bigger level, the higher level that we strive for, could love even a lower one. So what we need to do when we see our children, or the grandchildren, who are angry, or the cousins, or the sibling, they're saying shiksa gaita, and they feel very Jewish doing that, looking down at them and saying, how come, and why doesn't he? You have to be mechanech them and raise them and say, I know how you feel, you're on this level, and as you get older, I want to be mechanech, I want to tell you Tairas Emes. You don't have to be scared of Tairas Emes. That the bigger tzaddikim understood that we don't look down at even that Jew. And we have to love every single Jew, and we're going to bring him back by being nice to him, and we don't judge anybody. Teach your kids. No, I can't teach them anything. Really? Why can't you teach them? If you can teach them that these cousins don't exist, right? Where's my sister? She used to exist. No, she doesn't exist anymore. That you can say. Where's my whole cousin didn't come Hanukkah bar? Oh, they don't exist? You're going to just chop them off, and the neighbors don't look and don't look? No. Be mechanech them. Tairas emes. There's people out there who are not tznius. There's people out there who are not from. And we don't judge them, period. We're happy with our relationship with Hashem, and we daven for everybody else, and we love them, and Hashem wants us to be makar of them. So why do we think that the ultimate of Yiddishkeit is rejection? And we don't know what to tell these kids. They're so frum. Tell them that there's a higher level. Teach them. I have a beautiful shtickle. Now I'm not going to say it. From the Nesiv Shalom on Nושרים Bayechai. Who is greater than Nושרים Bayechai? And he was looking down at Yidden. And the Baskel said, you came here to destroy my world? He also got a wake-up call. There's a higher level. To be you, to be frum and to be erlich, and not to look down on another Jew. That's enough for now. If anybody wants to hear, what I've said is enough to hear. So people who are deaf and they don't want to hear, I can go on for another 6 hours. It ain't going to make any difference. If you want to hear the truth, this is my experience with my kids. I brought them up. Not everybody's from. It's not a terror attack. It's not a trauma. Not everybody's from. Yeah, and our job, the from people, is to be makarev and makarev and makarev. And then you'll see, like you said before, when they start seeing those kids get better, Mirz Hashem, their friends get better, they'll start feeling, wow, we're part of the team. And that's going to make them not want to go off the derech a few years later in case they have a bump in the road, because they're part of those who are giving and being mechazik Klal Yisrael, and they know how much the kids on the street want to come back. It's beautiful. What your kids saw in the last 2 years since you're here, they got to meet not just your daughter, all those friends, and they got to see how they do beautiful things, and all of a sudden one keeps Shabbos, and one says Tehillim, and all these stories. That's going to be mechazik them, not to leave Yiddishkeit. I think it's only a good thing, unfortunately. Of course, I wish that every single person, that the whole world will be full of only from Yidden, and our kids should never see any Chilul Shabbos, and they should live in a utopia world, achar tikkun olam. But if we're not there, we have no choice. We cannot avoid and keep on saying, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look. People walk by the park and the kids are smoking and they're walking with little kids. And they go like this, kiknish, kiknish, kiknish. It doesn't work. A kid in Home Sweet Home told me, he said when he was 10 years old, his father very, 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 very frum. And he never let him see anything not frum, anything not proper. And he was stuck with him one time in Walmart. So you know what his father did? Very frum father. He took a paper bag and he put it over the kid's head and he held him and he walked with him through Walmart. He shouldn't see anything not sneeze. L'shem shemayim. L'shem shemayim. No, they leave room, the eyes open. Here, the eyes closed, right? Not even a burqa. And go tell the father that right, the kid ended up going off the derech. Not because of that, but it doesn't help. You live in a world. I'm not telling you it's a good thing that they should see things, but they should see their brothers, their sisters who are hurting. Achenu Beis Yisrael, who's in mamish on fire. So many of these kids, and you bring them up to care about Nachayid, to care about another Jew, and to care and to realize that we are lucky, and we're going to save them, and you will, and that's going to make them strong. So I just want to end with this. Even those kids that they knew that once this sibling or aunt or uncle or cousin or neighbor was from, and now they're not from, so then people say, oh, if they were never from, fine. And again, we don't want our kids to see this. It's the same answer. You have to tell your kids the truth. The truth is going to last a lot longer. They were from, and now they're off the derech. They're not from anymore. What does it do? It doesn't, in my opinion, in my experience, doesn't do anything. It doesn't damage them, doesn't make them want to go off. Just say the truth. They were from, remember Chani, she was from? She used to be in Beis Yaakov, and now she's not from, and she wears a miniskirt, and she drives in Shabbos. She's not from, she opted out. She hit unsubscribe. Really? You can do that? Some people do that. So you know what Hashem wants from us? To be nice to her. Havedanis kala adam lekavschus. Al todanes chavercha ad sheteglim kaimai. Midas toivos v'haftal reacha kamoicha, etc., etc., etc. That's what our job is. It's very simple, and kids will say, "Okay, it's okay. It's not a trauma. It's not a trauma." It becomes a trauma when the parents are so scared, and they look for all kinds of things to say, except the truth, and the kid knows something's funny over here. Just say, "Moshe going through a hard time, and he's not from now." And we're going to, either you could say, we're going to be makar of him, or sometimes you don't want them to go if they're too little and they're going to tell him, oh, Tati said we're going to be nice to you, you're going to become from. Okay, you don't want to say that. And sometimes you're going to say they're going through a hard time and they're really sick. And like I said before, sometimes you don't want to do that because of the 6-year-old girl who knocked on her brother's door, and he opened up the door and she had a big get well soon refuah shalema. And he said, I'm fine. What are you talking about, right? She said, what do you mean? Daddy said you're sick in the head. You got to be careful with that. So you want to tell them the truth. Chani is not from. Chani is not from. That's it. And they're going to accept it, that it's part of life. And it's not going to make them want to not be from. It's going to make them want to know how to deal with the situation, like Rav Steinman told us, like the Chazon Ish told us, Yinasu l'mashcham ba'avoisais ahava v'lo l'tchaisam chalila, to try to pull them in with ropes of love and not to reject them. Teach them Torah. Isn't that what chinuch is all about? Teach them what does Hashem want us to do when people around us are not from. Teach them that the Baal Shem Tov, who knew everything, said, love them more. Teach them all the Ma'ar Makaimis that I teach you from everywhere, Litvish, Hasidish, Svardish, everyone, that Hashem wants the Frum to be Makarav. They could understand that. It's not such a crazy concept. The Eibush is helping that Amir Hashem, all the kids are going to be Chayzer B'tshuva, and we won't have this problem anymore. We won't have to juggle all of these problems anymore, and they should see all these kids that are part of the team Klal Yisrael, being Makarev, they should all see the tremendous success as they watch from they're 5 years old and they're going to be 7, 8, 9. They're going to see so many of these kids now they're from, and that's going to be mechazik them even more.